Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Your good friend Walter at the workbench. So, I thought we'd have some fun today. I took this board and I sequestered it away from the workbench. I hid it from sight, even away from earshot. It could not hear me, it could not see what I was doing. And then I proceeded to sharpen these planes. Some of these planes have a hollow grind on their bevel. Some of them are flat ground on their bevel. One is convex. And one is a bevel up. So, got them all sharp. And so that if you're new to hand planing and you want to catch up on what I'm talking about, this is a blade. In some countries it's called an iron. This side can either be called the face or the back. Here in America we call it the back. And this is your bevel. From the factory, you will find some manufacturers will have a slight hollow grind on the bevel. I like to hollow grind on my whetstone every 6, 8, 10 bench sharpenings to bring this 25-degree back perfect. Then, when you're polishing your edge, as you can see here, I hope you can see it, the heel and the toe of the heel and the edge are polished. That's because I'm using the hollow grind as a registration for my 25 degrees. That's why that is nice to have. Some manufacturers will send you a blade that appears to have been sharpened on a flat surface. And I'm thinking they might be using a belt sander, some sort of a jig. They put it in a belt sander and just bring it in and it's flat. The bevel is flat, flat, flat. But that's pretty much the two ways you're going to get your blade, either from the factory or from someone like me. If you sent me blades for sharpening, I would put hollow grind on all of them. Now, here's the thing. There is one method of sharpening that is promoted. It's a freehand method where you bring it up and when you're pulling back and forth, there's a slight rock. It's just minute, but you end up with a convex bevel. Basically, it's a bump. So we've got one group of people say that that's the way to sharpen. That's the only way to sharpen. Another group says you use a guide and you keep that bevel flat. Flat, flat, flat. Straight across and flat. All the time, flat. And then there's others who like to hollow grind. Grind, not hone, grind. Between sharpenings, between honings, and then that way you have a registration for your heel and your toe or the cutting edge. Now, going back for beginners again, there's only one thing that matters. That this front edge and the back end up, if you draw them out into infinity, they disappear. And when you shine light on that front edge, you can't see it. It disappears. Okay? So, I did all my sharpening. I brought my wood to the bench. And I said to my wood, "Wood, I want to see how smart you are. I would like you to tell me which of these plane blades is sharpened with a convex bevel. So I presented the number 5. Then I presented my one handmade smoother. Okay? And then I presented my jack plane. And then I presented my ECE, gents plane. Okay? And I said, Wood, can you tell me which of these has the convex bevel? No answer. Not in the shavings. There's not even an answer in the shavings. They all look the same. So, I said to the wood, Wood, which of these planes has a bevel up blade? So I presented the planes to the wood again. And I said, which of these planes is a bevel up? Which of them is bevel down? Can you tell me? And yet again, no reply. You hear people say that your wood talks to you. You get feedback from your wood. Yeah, you get feedback from your wood. But when it's not saying anything, it's not giving you answers, is it because the wood is dumb and it can't tell? Here's the skinny. The wood has no idea if it's bevel up, if it's beveled down. It has no idea if it's at 25 degrees, 50 degrees, 70 degrees. It has no idea if it's at 12 degrees. It has no idea. All it is concerned with is that that edge be sharp, 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 and as you approach, as you come onto the wood, you begin to make a shaving. And that shaving wants to curl up. So you got your blade coming in, and the shaving wants to curl up over that blade. That's it. That's the only thing you're going to get out of this wood is curls. Now, I can't take full credit for this episode. It was stimulated in me by Mr. Christopher Schwartz and his writing on sharpening recently. But I wanted to present it to a new person, someone new at sharpening. All you need is a bevel and a flat back. And we're not going to get into whether you use the ruler technique or if you will make your back completely flat. That's irrelevant. It truly is irrelevant. But in today's topic, if I had, and I do have, my druthers, I prefer going to either a dry or wet grinder and creating a bevel. It'll be hollow ground so that when I come to my stone, I can do it blindfolded. I put my finger here, I raise it up, I close my eyes, there it is. There's the angle, right there. Then all I have to do is keep enough pressure on it so that I get a little wear on the back and a little more wear on the front, and then I feel for the burr, turn it over, remove the burr, I'm done. I can do it blindfolded. If I've got to rely on a jig, and I'm not saying a jig is bad, I use jigs, but if I have to rely on a jig, then I can't do it blindfolded. I absolutely can't, because you got to set the jig, you got to measure, you got to do, no. Now, as for the convex, it is a simple method of freehand sharpening. Once you have your sharpening station set at a certain height, okay, and that's constant to you, you will develop muscle memory as to how to hold your blade. And if you go back and forth, and there's a slight arc motion, you will create a convex bevel. But there again, it doesn't matter if the convex portion of it is ground. When I say ground, that's the primary shaping of it on 100 grit. It's only what is important is the front edge being polished and that they come to infinity. A keen, sharp edge. And as far as what grit you sharpen to, I really don't care. If you're getting the results you want at 180 grit for rough work, and you're going to sharpen several times in a day, great. If you're getting your results at 1,000, great. But if you want to spend more than the time it takes to warm up a cup of coffee in the microwave sharpening, that's too much time. I'm sure somebody will disagree with me. Somebody always disagrees with me. But that's it. So why not go check and see how smart your wood is? Okay? Go get a piece of wood in your workshop that's the smartest looking piece of wood out there. Hide it, sharpen your tools, and go make some shavings. I bet you'll find your wood is pretty not smart. Hey, that's all for today. Thanks for being here. Head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.